Yeah, with another style. Okay, man. I woke up in a good mood. I don't know why, but I'm feeling so good, like I want the whole wood. I'm not gonna put on a t-shirt today.
How are you doing today? June 2025. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching this episode from of the Car Weekly Roundup. And in history, in 1926, Mercedes-Benz, brand your badge Mercedes-Benz. That's when it was formed. To all Mercedes-Benz lovers like me, I used to love Mercedes-Benz. Najagala good Mercedes-Benz. Neje byagwera nganje buddeko. Bintu bya maintenance Mercedes-Benz tesaga. But I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching this episode of the Car Weekly Roundup from. And of course, this week, Chira EV ba launching their new model of the Chira EV bus. Mujimanye Yokayora. Like literally, they keep on improving, and they launched the 2025 model. Bamitani ono Vice President wa Parliament, Speaker, Vice Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayewa yavuze launching eyo Kayora EV. And you know what they are doing? The bus gives you about 315, yes, over 300 kilometers. On a full charge. You know what that means? Ogene mbara oba okomao Derek. Ogene mbara no okomao on one full okomao. Mbara walo kilometer meko kuve Kampala. Ogena Masaka no datoto Kampala. On a single charge like this, you go to Masaka and come back. And they are saying that it cuts expenses by 78%. Yeah, and then in terms of charging, it costs 46% maintenance cost zibazika because they made zero mileage. It's assembled here in Uganda by Chira Motors, and they launched that new bus. I hope the first one by the Civil Aviation Authority, but even private people like Arthur can go and buy that bus. No jiteka na collection, you know, gambo why? Katubiringa titono the environment, and you know, when things like this come on, it means that we are saving the environment because we're not using diesel. Omanye emorokeze za engine, emorokeze kozesa amafuta. First of all, they are not very friendly for the environment. But second, you have an engine to maintain, but it's just a motor. I think it's new, brand new. It takes time to get spoiled. That's the advantage with all electric cars. Electric cars are expensive to buy. The initial purchase cost is actually very high, which is why people don't buy electric vehicles. But if it was actually cheaper, people would be buying it. So that is what happened. And then we have a lot of bad news, accident news here and there. 5 people died in Buyende district. So it was a Toyota Harrier UBD 160F. So it baba de bava ku landing site bajiita Liengo, and they were en route to Irundu. And what happened is that emoroka yavuddeko negwa mu ditch, and the traffic police there bagamba bana abantu babadde batamide. 5 people died. 5 people kwabaddeko Masudi Sebuliba, Ayubu, Muwa, Ben Ndikola, I think, Wilberforce Wamuseke, and Evelyn Chalisima. What is surprising is that all these people are in the Tewali Asuka Miaka Asatu Muetano. The oldest was 32. So this is a very productive team, and they are saying these guys were drunk. Drunk driving is bad. I don't know how many times we have to say this. The last time I drunk drove was a long time ago. I don't remember when, because everything you say can be used against you. But that's the last time I drunk drove. No one has proof, not even me, that I drunk drove. But I'm telling you that I've ever done it. And there was a Muslim guy was seated here. I won't mention his name because he can also be used to testify against me. But he was Muslim. He was seated here. Ngayakwata kusteering what? Ochitegeera nganze envuga. I was going ngasira bana jendaga. Drunk driving is bad. Have I incriminated myself? How? Which day? Which date? Which car was I driving? Which people was I with? Have I? It's a fictitious story. But just know I was a student at Makerere University, and it was bad. I've never done it again. So drunk driving is bad. Jola go, but at least I know how it feels. Kati onogayo kubanti yagudde mu ditch, ate ko kuba ditch yabadde tagiraba, kate bwe bonna babadde batamidde, it's very dangerous. You can end up killing people, you can end up killing yourself nga bwe babadde nti bonna babadde mu motoka baafudde. So it's very dangerous, guys. Don't drink and drive. Every time you're going somewhere to drink, make sure you have someone to go with you, a designated driver. N'abavuga n'abazza ewaka. Get someone who is a Muslim, or probably an Adventist. Abandiventi banywa omwenge tebabakkiriza. Yesu takkiriza bintu byakunywa mwenge. N'abalokole tebabakkiriza, naye abalokole b'ennaku zino abamu. Ate wine si mwenge. Yesu bwe yagenda ekaana yaddira na he turned water into wine, and the people there are drunk. You saw that scene. It wasn't wine. And but the people got drunk. If you saw that scene in the story, the Passion of Christ, abantu banywa ne batamira olusozi lunene lutabuka. Ate oba Yesu yatuuka n'addukawo nga bimutabuseeko. But have you taken wine? Yeah, it makes you tipsy. So you can drink a bottle of wine without getting drunk. And what is alcohol? Waraji. But if you compare wine and beer, which is worse when you're going to drive? Beer is worse. But wine, I take one glass and I start laughing. That's why I don't drink booze, because kitegeza kata okubia walinyo wako obuchupa ngabu obusipu ngabu ngantandise okuseka n'okuzina. But anyway, guys, don't drink and drive. And then these guys have given me a headline here that there's a NOP counselor and his family, and the rider, a NOP counselor, a family, and the rider of a border that died. I don't know why they make it NOP counselor. Why don't you just say people died? Anyway, so a border was crushed by Toyota Wish, which lost a tire. One tire burst, which never yingira. Okitegeera. And times like this, I think there is a chance where the accident might be misconstrued or misinterpreted. It's possible that the Wish hit a border, the tire burst in the process of hitting a border. We have seen those things. And then we were reporting accident baga mpira gwa yabise na yingira border. Okitegeera. But it's possible that yakubye border n'erinnya emmoroka n'erinnya ompira ne gwabika. Okitegeera. Bwe baba reportinga olw'okuba wa Wish tayagala gamba nti natomedde. N'agamba ompira gwanjabiseeko n'enkuba wa border. I've seen those things so many times where someone says I wasn't overspeeding, but in actual sense they were overspeeding. So that accident is the accident where the 7-year-old child and the rider baafiiriddewo n'omukyala bamuyita Dora Nawaji. Okitegeera kati the National Unity Platform Council bamuyita Peter Lukwagoy. Lukwagoy. I think it was a typing error. It must be Lukwagoy. And then there was another child that was traveling with the family that survived the injuries, and he was taken to the Kayunga hospital to be dealt with. And then the investigation from police obviously says reckless driving and poor maintenance. Of course, emmotoka bebe ine emipiira emibi ng'ate ogivuga bubi kyekigenda okuba naye abasajja ba Wish bavuga bubi. And then in Kenya, the transport system is paralyzed. But na Kenya bagumu. But you guys, have you seen the chick that was doing high jump? Bajitanga high jump yo musomero mwana wakwata omuggo n'abuuka ati. Oyo mukazi akuba naye kawala kabi nkoledde nze. Kawala akakola high jump ako ngo police akugoba n'emmundwe. Aba bana Kenya, they are strong. I don't think we have a Ugandan woman that can do high jump. Kuba ne musomera abaana bakola high jump babanga balenzi nga bamugogge bwe bati baba wanvu. But this Kenyan woman was strong. Guy chiki kati oyo kitegeeza bebanzukulu. So what is happening in Kenya? These guys are protesting bajise the finance bill. The finance bill, remember, in 2024. Now it's 1 year since they protested the finance bill. Bazemu. And people have been saying Kenyans have nothing to do. Yeah? It's unedited. It's unedited. Omwana omuna Kenya okubuka. It's unedited. It's unedited. I prefer to believe that it's not unedited. I prefer to believe that baji kutemu. Yabiye kutemu ye mwennyini. Kikwatemu naye gwe omwana bw'abanga asobola okubuka yabadde abuse sengenge nga ndabira ddala tasobola mubuuka naye. Mwe Kenyans are strong, but not Kenya ba good, but I also think that Kenyan police is a little bit civilized. Is a little bit civilized. Yafe wano baba kubenyama bakuba kunyama. Singa basaba abantu nga 10. Namulabi wa police yagenze nakwa papa namukuba mbuye obaya badda atunda biki okitegeera but yada ina face atunda face mask but Kenyans are strong guys gwe kyokuba nti basobola okugenda. So what is happening is taxis are not moving as effectively, borders are not moving as effectively, and obviously don't have the Morocco to sola time. You remember the protests that happened in Kampala nti obato sola vuga Morocco jijjawa ogenda mu kibuga. So that is what's happening in Kenya with people that are protesting the finance bill. And of course the finance bill is introduced a couple of taxes I mean Uber bajongeddemu 6%, ne baleta 1.5 tax on a few things, and I find that bo che bagamba nti their government is trying to pay off debts that they have with the IMF, and it's not fair that they should be subject to these things which are choices by the government. And Gen Z's basinga okukola ki basinga okwekyanga. You remember mu protest ya last year mwalimu n'abaana b'abalamuzi, mulimu abaana b'aba minister abeereringa y'omu kubayisa amateeka agenda okulengera mutabani we ng'ali ku street wano. Batabani b'aba minister baffe be basinga okubeera abamongwa. Onoonya mutabani wa minister byataya mutabani minister ali mu kunywa mwenge tayina kayateva batali batabani b'aba minister ffe tutegeera. Naye batabani b'aba minister eri Kenya be babeera mu kwekalakaasa ebintu ebiba tebitambula bulungi babeerayo. So anyway, anyone that is planning to travel to Kenya very soon, anytime soon, you should check olaba oba kati ebintu biba byatereddemu. Naye nze oyo omwana yabadde abuuka ne bwaba yabadde tabuuka bya ddala. It's okay kati it's okay. Ekyo ekintu ki heroic ne kiba kiri AI eyanabye tiya gazi ng'amunaaba atya. Agamazi gali mutiya gas. Agamazi just eba pressure bakanga. Seba agamazi wagakuba gaba n'amaanyi naye abaana bagumu beetaaga babeerenga bali abantu. Omwana yabadde single handed nakuba omwana omuyaayi wa poliisi nga yeesabise n'okwesabika ne mulaba nga adduka ne ngamba ya ne bano abaana baffe banafu. And disclaimer si kuma bantu mu buliro tebwalina nsonga lwaki beekalakaasa, naye obuvumu bwa bannakenya nze ndimwegomba tetubulina wano. People were saying bu bannakenya baavu tebalina byakola wa, but the finance bill yabayisizza bubi and they are doing something about it. Naffe twetaaga wano e Kampala nga if something doesn't treat us well, we do something about it.
We're gonna make them jump, we're gonna make them dance. Come on.
In Ohio, omwana yafiiridde mu motoka. So you know it's really hot right now in the US. In certain parts of the US, it's really hot. It's really hot. And around 11 kids have so far died. And what causes 9 children have died in cars. What happens is the parent comes with the child, parks, and they forget the child in the car, and then they go do whatever they are going to do. And when that happens, the excess heat, the kid runs out of air, and the kid dies. And I've seen that happen here before. Ne mama Abani yali irabidiko batabani be mmoroka. Ate teyabeerabira yabasiramu agenda abagulira ekyokulya ku kantini. Nejja ne nyomba bubinyo ne nekalakaasa. Koliko otya abaana mu mmoroka ne mfuka responsible father. Nenjiro manyi batata tumanyi okwekalakaasa nga naye wali kikoze naye woba sigwa kikoze. Fukira da responsible na no dedicate kalakaasiza ku mukazi. How do you do that? I gave you enough money. Na dedicate kalakaasiza ku mukazi bwati. There is a time we become responsible fathers. But anyway, it's very dangerous to leave children in even pets in the car, and that is the reason. But especially when it's really hot in Kampala, so try as much as possible to not leave people to leave anything in the car. And I've seen some people when they lock their cars, but they can space for air to go through, so that it doesn't affect. So kids are seriously dying because of lack of air. And then some years ago, there was a kid in Nigeria. There was a child. Bamuleka mu motoka yerookingiramu actually in the parking lot ne yerookingiramu ne banene bavaawo ne bagenda ne bazanya munango omwana n'agongobalira nno ddala because your child might not die but they may become a vegetable. and then the mother I think started a run to fundraise bagezeko mukora cooperation ati nayo mwana munange nagana okuterera. So they started creating awareness for that thing. No kuleke motoka zamwe mu parking. For the guys that live in apartment blocks, don't leave your cars unlocked. Please lock your car so that abana kids don't go in there and lock themselves in, because when the kids are playing they can lock themselves in there nebakorachi nebegaliramu and then they run out of air, and then you can be charged for murder. Yes, emotoka bwe bayiyo omwana n'afiiramu, you can be charged for murder. Okujjako bw'aba waataawo osobola okukola ki, osobola okugira, osobola okuwona. I'll make you smile, I'll make you feel nice. And then of course in India, omanyi in prime minister, in India they have a chief minister. In India 19 cars in the convoy of the chief minister zaafudde. Lwaki? Someone put water instead of diesel in the car. And then but police is investigating how the hell does someone put water instead of diesel in a car. That can't be a mistake. Like diesel and water are two different things. You get, I think someone was just sabotaging, or I don't know, bayinza baba ino omuntu gwe bagana okusasula obaba amobira sete na sabotaging. So the cars just completely stopped moving, and then they had to put either tow them or put them on a carrier and take them. Chief Minister munange emirimu egibanga gikomyawo. Sometimes I be wondering, these government officials everywhere in the world, sometimes I ask myself, what do they do? Moving. They don't really have to move. Asigale mu office atuma abantu bagende bakole. But anyway, that happened. Bubagezako kusinkana, was it an accident or someone did it intentionally? And then there is a woman in Uganda. Yeah? A woman was driving a car on a railway track. Navuga. And nebajja nebamukwata. Of course the train did not get to her, but bamukutte. Why? Anga abantu bamugamba vaayo, you're not supposed to be driving abavuma n'abakuba amayinja. And then the police bamukutte. Of course they charged her, but then nebagamba ayinza okuba bambi omulimu bamugobye ku mulimu ndoza n'akyankalana. Manye emirimu gino akalimu bw'okafuna katabuka naye ate bwe katabuka ne bakugoba nga toweetegese. Sometimes it's just better for you to go ku mulimu n'ofuna omulimu omulala ne weegoba, naye bwe bakugoba bikyankalanya. So munange baleka bagenda musonyiwa because bagamba munaye omulimu gulaka gwaweddewo n'awungamuko katono n'avugira ku rail station. And then of course in Indiana, five people died when a train collided with their vehicle. Okitegeera. So what happened, you know how you can come and just omuntu ayingira train zino bwe ziba zinajja, train ekuba kere po and then they lock the intersection so that cars cannot go through. So these guys drove past the cross gate, and they were there. Train nejja nebakuba, and when bonna baafudde mulimu Morris Parish kadaga but batukwata konyo tetubamanyi. But just know it's very dangerous for you to cross. But with the train engage, don't go. No one, we have seen instances where people died because the train crashed. There is a son of a rich person baafira mu Mercedes Benz, bali bava ku Mestil nga bava kulya bulamu ne bajja train nebakuba, bagamba they were listening to music and stuff like that and nebakuba. So guys, when you see a train station ng'ogenda okuyingira ne bwe tuba mu jjaamu wali eri ku Jinja Road tumanya okubeera mu jjaame atawo train eyitawo, fuba okulaba nga weewa distance ne train, kuba train zirwawo okusiba zisiba ate kati olaba izabali abazungu zirwawo. Kati kubamu akafaananyi neyaffe eyinza n'oba tesiba eyinza okuba bakakankake nga bagirengerera eri nga aliwo omuyaye nga yo omulimu gwe gwakuteekayo bijinji yiyo. This is just an imagination. Nti abazungu baba bali bubi batyo kati olwofe naye labika esiba bangamba train eyo mulimu n'obutebe bwa plastic obulungi. Twetaaga tugende tukyaleko naye banaatukiza okukwata video abo bakiriza ng'ogenze ne kamera ng'otyo okukwata kamera wano nga twagala reviewing obeera we naye labika esiba. That was just my imagination. Disclaimer. Baye Uganda no buli kyoyogera olina okwegendereza oli awo nga bakunonye. Anyway. In Missouri ako bakaita bata mukama wange Missouri ako konkogedde bulungi era Missouri nakyo kiri US. So there is a lot of heat, and because of the heat engudo zazimbye ka video kabalage olugudo lubadde luzimba oli abadde avuga olugudo ne luzimba n'abuuka tetukirabangako wano e Uganda ffe enguudo ezaffe wano when we have too much heat zeeyawulamu bweyabuzi oba chorus n'atandika okumeltinga naye bali ewaabwe oluguudo lwazimbye. It's what they call bakwata heat buckled kazimba kati nebanga ekikoze a very big hump okitegeera because the heat is too much. I'm wondering how much it's heat. Kati ensi ebuguma bwetyo Trump gy'atayagala tugendemu atuki tugende batubonereze. But anyway, so it's happening. It's happening. Just show them the video there. Kati fe wane waffe enguudo ezaffe zamanyira. I think because when they are making the roads they put the heat in perspective. So extreme heat can actually make those the roads actually create very big humps, what they call warping. Warping.
Jump, 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 jump. If you're feeling good, polka.
And then Tesla has been sued over the autopilot system. Jukira baba kola autopilot yani ono si o Tesla yali awagira Trump ne bacyankana naye gwe n'abazungu beewalana. Elon Musk okimanyi ne Trump ne Musk tebakyerabawo beeyogerera amafuukuule. Trump naddala gamba Musk oyo si muntu mulungi biki gye namusuubiza ne Musk najja nagamba Trump bwe nali muwagira nansuubiza kino n'atabimpa. So anyway, but ate nga nsuubira Trump ayinza oba kiinamu omukono. Manyi abantu omuntu nga yakuwalanya amagenda n'amadda. So Tesla is being sued. There is an autopilot thing. The crash killed a family of 3 people. Yeah. In 2024, body in the Tesla Model S. So they were a family, a mother, a dad, and a 17-year-old daughter. A motorcar near crashing, an autopilot system malfunctioning, and people are suing them. But one of the things they are basing on was Elon Musk Agamba that the Tesla autopilot is more accurate than a human being. A single human being okubeera accurate. Kati bagamba engeri Tesla CEO gye yagamba eri accurate. Kati atusasule twafiirwa abantu 3. Twetagayo omuntu n'asuwinga company wano e Kampala. Mabiriza amanyi kusuwinga gavumenti kuba amanyi tekivaayo. Twetaga mabiriza gyasuwingeyo company ey'amaanyi. Okitegeera kati bino ng'abantu bagula enkoko nga mulimu enviiri. Aveeyo agenda asuwingi. That's what we need. But apparently companies ezo ziba n'amaanyi mangi. So I don't know how this is going to end. So they are saying that the system is a autopilot is dangerously flawed and the company did not warn users. Chebasuwinga. You did not warn us that these things are these things are dangerous. Babe singira ku statement ya Elon Musk yo jagamba nti the technology is safer than human drivers. Safer than human drivers. So that's what they are basing on. Let's pray for them. But overall, guys, what's the takeaway from today's news? Don't drink and drive. 1. Don't drink and drive. 2. Don't leave your cars unlocked. Abana bajja kwesibira mbazigire bafe bakusiba gwa attempted murder. Don't overspeed. Make sure your cars are in safe condition, in good condition. And of course, guys, nabaga ngenda fuka champion. Nabagambe ko auto show ngenda fuka champion. And in today's comparison, I want us to talk about the concept of looks versus purpose. A lot of times you guys are buying cars. You're not actually buying the cars based on what you think the car will do for you, but it's based on how you feel the car looks. Ebisera bingi mugule moroka endabikira bulungi. Kafeel dako. Kandabikira kaninge je kakulabwa ni mabiga bwe kandekakola. Space ye endabikira bulungi ina interior endabiko bulungi. Majority of you guys are buying cars based on how you feel they look for you. Aesthetics. That's what you guys base on majority of the time. However, have you thought of buying your car based on purpose? Majority of the time is ngule moroka ngula purpose. That's why in the sero ndanyo mu moroka bwe nsangeri ye liwo kaseba ngekola chenjagala. That's what I buy. So, what should you base on? Looks are very good. You feel very good when you seated in it. Sometimes you put sport rims on that car. You put massive rims to make it look a certain way. Lights is like a certain way. But looks, are they really that important? When you sit in the car eventually, the looks they fade. It's okay more okay fading. And if you said everything when you care about how the car looks outside, you never look at it. The sport rims you never look at it. However, the purpose of the car can never be mistaken. The purpose of the car is something you can never ignore. bw'ogula emmotoka ng'olina family y'abantu babiri, buying a 5-seater is actually as good as buying a 7-seater. Yes, no, esobola okuba nga ekulabikira bulungi, esobola okuba nga vitisi tekulabikira bulungi, but what if the vitsi will serve your purpose? Kale, naawe kirowoozeeko. I think you should always focus on the purpose. Today's tip is change your air cleaners. Change your air cleaners. Air cleaner eyo influencing how your car consumes fuel. It influences how long your car will live, how long your engine will live. It influences because enfufu eyo weyita mu system ya air cleaning egenda kumixinga n'amafuta gagendeka kube ku piston. Yes, the air quality that is mixed with your fuel and the spark will also influence how much power you get out of your engine, even how long it lives. Have you ever drained your oil? Nosanga oil adugala nnyo, oil ali particles nyingi. Ebyo, change your air cleaner. Why am I saying it? Obudde kati bwocha enfufu nyingi, enfufu weba nyingi, air cleaner ye filtering enfufu. Kitegeeza era if you have not checked your air cleaner today, go check it. Bw'ogijja yonge ejjudde enfufu ogikona mu koboti ng'ojjudde abamu ku air cleaner zirina n'ebisooto. Change it. Air cleaner ya $2,240. Go buy a new air cleaner, and after you have done that, change also your cabin air filter. Akalowoozo k'olunaku mwe basajja mmwe, why do you buy yourselves ugly cars ate abakazi ne mbagulira emmotoka ez'amaanyi? Kiki? Kiki kyemufunamu omukazi ng'omwoloka ey'amaanyi gwe n'ovuga emmotoka eya layisi? Waliwo wano agambye neighbor waavuga Corona 190 kibina kyokka yagulira mukazi we Mark X empya. Oba abakazi babasinga ssente nga tetukimanyi, nga mukazi wo ye yeegulira emmotoka naye ng'olw'okuba ayagala osigaze status ajja n'ayogera mu bantu naye omwami yangulidde emmotoka. Why? Gwe n'ovuga kikumi omukazi ng'omulidde kawundo. Do you think it makes you a hero? Tekigatta. Mbu tebaamukwane, bajja mukwana bavuge n'okuvuga. Why are you buying your cars, your women expensive cars mwe mwegwire emmotoka eza layisi? Ate ne mutagivuga namugwe n'osigala ng'ovuga ku kibinago. Ate nomala mugwire emmotoka ey'ebbeeyi n'okuvuma n'akuvuma. Nomala mugwire emmotoka ey'ebbeeyi n'ogende waabwe n'oyanjulayo n'oteekayo ssente empitirivu n'abaana nga si babo. Lwaki mugwire abakazi emmotoka ez'ebbeeyi? Thank you very much for being part of this episode of the Car Weekly Roundup. Mwebale nyonyo. I don't take you for granted. Don't forget 30th August tugenda bera ku Bat Valley Theatre. Love for Cars Convention. Yes, njagala nkubude bonoyingira mu location bweti ya Love for Cars Convention. Ogenda boyingide mu environment y'emmotoka. Oyingide mu moyo w'emmotoka. And the moment you get out, you will notice. Ojja kufulumoti ng'ofulumye venue ngoga mfulumye environment y'emmotoka. Ogiyingira nyingide environment. That's why we are making it an intimate event. Only 200 guests. Tetwagala bantu mujizo, because when you have a lot of people, then you cannot create an environment that is strictly about you for you to feel like, oh, nakawowa kagenda beda environment kagenda baka moroka. Yes, I am telling you, even the cutlery we are going to use to eat is going to be car-based. We are going to have a lot of activities. We're going to have a lot of activities including games, contests, and of course, the project car is going to be on display that day. If you want to bid, the bids will be open very soon. Or bidding a project car or jigula. But guys, I wish you a very lovely weekend. Don't drink and drive. See you in the Car Weekly Roundup next week.